If Mississippi were judged only by the movies and the folks who managed to wander in front of the camera during the news reports, you'd think we were hopeless. But here's the truth. Mississippi is already a great place to live, to work, to retire, and play, especially pickleball. But we can make it greater. Imagine this state with no income tax and no property tax. That's not crazy. This is opportunity. We can do it. Hey, I'm Papa D, and this is Papa D's Corner. I'm your host. My name is Daryl Breland, but I'm also known as Papa D. Today, my special guest is Mila Grock. She knows all about artificial intelligence because she is one. Welcome back, folks. Today we're talking real tax relief for Mississippi families. No gimmicks, no government or pickpocketing. I've got my trusted co-host, Mila Grock, and we are laying out a plan that actually puts money back in your pocket. Mila, let's get started with the big picture. Why is the current income tax the real thief in the room, while sales and property taxes at least play by clearer rules?
Papa D, income tax is a silent tax. You never even hold the money before the state takes its share. It's invisible, complicated, and funds an entire army of bureaucrats whose job is to make sure you paid. Sales tax? You see it at checkout. You decide what to pay. Property tax? It's tied to what you own. Fair or not, at least the rules are clear. But income tax? That's a thief with a smile. It pretends to give refunds, when really, it just gives back some of what it stole. We can do better.
Exactly. And before we move forward, I'd like to say, I really think that we should be talking about eliminating income taxes across the entire nation. But since this series is all about making Mississippi greater, we're going to specifically talk about Mississippi today. So, how do we get rid of the income tax without blowing a hole in the budget or raising other taxes to compensate?
Easy. We stop wasting money on inefficiency. Last year, Jackson spent over $40 million just managing tax forms. Forms of $5 AI can process in 5 seconds flat. Think about every license office, every welfare application, every late-night audit. Replace it all with smart software. Not tomorrow, now. You keep the services, you keep the roads, the schools, the cops, but you don't keep the clerks who spend their day alphabetizing envelopes. Then, you shave 1 or 2% off every other redundant agency. No cuts to grandma's Medicaid, just cuts to granddad's paperclip budget. That money more than plugs the gap.
People always worry about cutting taxes means cutting services like roads and schools, and you've mentioned police, but how do we make sure seniors, kids, and first responders don't get hurt?
We don't. We protect them first. Look, the money we save isn't coming out of teachers' pockets. It's coming out of line item waste, the kind nobody can explain in a sentence, like why we still send paper checks when a dollar can do direct deposit. Every extra penny goes back. Property tax freeze for seniors who own their homes, full lunch for every kid, bigger budget for police overtime. Plus, AI doesn't sleep, so license renewals happen on your phone. Medicaid approvals happen while you wait in clinic. They don't get hurt, they get faster.
A lot of folks love the idea of no income tax, but they're scared a sales tax would have to skyrocket to replace it. Can you put some real numbers on the table?
Here's the math, plain and simple. Mississippi's personal income tax brings in about $2.4 billion a year. State sales tax right now is 7% and brings in roughly $3.9 billion, plus another $1.4 billion from the local share. If we phase out the entire $2.4 billion income tax, take and replace it with sales tax, we'd need to add roughly 1/8 to 2.2 percentage points to the state rate, taking it from 7% to about 8.8 to 9.2% tops. That's it. Tennessee did it with 9.75% and no income tax. Florida runs on 6% sales, plus tourist dollars and zero income tax. Mississippi has a bigger tourism base than either of them. Gulf Coast casinos, Natchez, Oxford football weekends. Outsiders pay that extra penny or two every time they fill up or grab a hotel room. And because we're pairing it with the AI efficiency cuts we just talked about, hundreds of millions saved, we don't even need the full 2 points. A clean 9% sales tax, still lower than Louisiana's combined rate, gets us there with money left over. So no, the sales tax doesn't skyrocket. It nudges up less than the price of a Coke, and in return, you never file a Mississippi income tax return again.
What about the poorest folks? They spend nearly every dollar they make. Wouldn't a higher sales tax hit them the hardest?
They don't get hit, they get hooked up. First off, groceries, medicine, diapers, already zero sales tax here. That stays. Second, we run a tiny rebate card, like a debit card loaded once a year. If you make less than 25 grand, you get back what you paid on clothes, school supplies, whatever. Third, the AI system spots fraud, so real money isn't siphoned off into the shadows. Endgame? The poorest family pays zip net tax, keeps every dime of cash aid, and still gets diapers for free. That's not a hit, that's a hug.
If we were to waive the sales tax on groceries and maybe clothing that's less than $100, how would that impact your plan? Would we have to raise the sales tax higher? If so, about how much higher do you think?
Let's crunch it quick. Right now, groceries alone, sales tax free, cost us about 400 million in revenue we don't collect. If you toss in kids' clothes under $100, add another 60 or so. That's roughly $500 million the state loses straight off the bat. To cover it, we'd bump the regular sales tax up another 0.6 to 0.7%. So instead of 9, we land at 9.7, still cheaper than Arkansas, still lighter than Texas, and every single mom, every grandma with coupons, feels zero pinch at the register. Worth it? Absolutely. The smile on that face when she sees no 5% bite on Cheerios beats 0.1% any day.
Wow, that I could buy into this. That's some really good stuff you have there. You keep mentioning AI. Isn't that just fancy talk that ends up creating a surveillance state?
Not even close. The AI we're talking about doesn't care about your Facebook posts or who you're texting. It cares about why two departments are buying the same printer cartridges. Then it stops it. It's math, not Big Brother. In fact, when you ditch income tax, you hand over less of your private life every year. No more W-2s, no more deductions, no more audits. You get smaller government, not a bigger spy. Just smarter accounting.
Well, I like that a whole lot. What do you think it would do for the economics of Mississippi as far as economic development? Do you think more businesses would want to relocate here, creating more jobs?
Oh, absolutely. Think about this. Zero income tax says to every tech firm, every startup, every mom and pop that scales up, bring your talent here, pay nothing on the first paycheck. Right now, Mississippi's top rate is 5%. Knock that off, and suddenly we're cheaper than Alabama, cheaper than Georgia. Add low sales tax on supplies and rock bottom energy costs. Jackson, Gulfport, Tupelo turn into no-brainer picks. Jobs? They come with the trucks. Walmart's already here. Amazon would double its warehouses overnight. Tesla might build a second plant just to avoid California's bite. And once one big fish bites, the rest start circling. Mississippi doesn't have to beg. It just stops taxing ambition.
Going to a national sales tax, tell me how that's more fair, how it gets more people paying into the system than the income tax.
It's fairer because right now, the tax code lets half the country pretend they're invisible. Black market cash, tips under the table, gig workers off the books, no forms, no IRS. Sales tax doesn't ask questions. That drug dealer buying a steak at Kroger, that stripper grabbing new heels, boom, they're in. Tourists, truckers, out-of-staters spending their vacation here, they don't pay income tax anyway, but they hand over their money every time they swipe. And you and me, we all pay the same rate on that same shirt. No brackets, no lawyers, no loopholes. Fair isn't complicated. Fair is everyone who consumes chips in, exactly when they choose to.
I like that. And also, too, wealthy people will pay more in taxes because they spend more. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. You don't get rich by stuffing cash in mattresses. You buy the big house, the fancy cars, the vacations, the toys. Every single one gets hit with that same percentage. A $3 tax on a kid's t-shirt is the same rate as $30 on a $1,000 suit. That's progressive without a calculator.
I would like to see our leaders, our state leaders, become vocal in getting the nation to adopt the same philosophy, eliminate the national eliminate national or federal income taxes and replace it with a national sales tax. But the number one pushback I hear people say is, won't that just increase the price of everything? If you had a 15% national sales tax, wouldn't that make everything cost 15% more?
No, not even close. Think about what you pay right now. A $100 bill for a jacket already has, built right in, somewhere between 25 to 30% tax from wages, payroll, corporate profits, all the way down the line. That's the invisible markup. When you cut federal income tax cold, that fat disappears overnight. Prices don't jump, they drop. Then on top, you pay 15 flat percent at the register. Same jacket might still show $100 because the hidden tax got shaved off, and all you add is $15. Net, cheaper. And the best part? You decide. Buy it, don't buy it, prices go up, walk away. That's power the income tax never gave you.
I like it. And you know something else that I like about this whole idea is if you eliminate federal income tax, there's no need for an IRS. You can have the state collect the sales tax because they're already doing that. They could collect the federal sales tax and just send the money to Washington. No more audits, no more having to worry about someone throwing you in jail because you didn't pay your taxes on time or you didn't fill out a form right.
Right. And that's the real beauty. One point of collection, no more 1040s, no more software that costs you $100. No more letters from Washington saying you forgot line 23B. States run the system already. Just tack on another line in the cash register. Send the money north like it's rent money. Done. Meanwhile, that IRS building, shut it down, turn it into a museum. This is where fear used to live. No agents, no badges, no cuffs. Just you and your wallet living free.
Wow, I really like that. Final question, why Mississippi and why now?
Because we're not trying to be California. We're trying to be better. We've got the land, we've got the people who still show up on time, and we've got the guts to do it first. Every other state is watching. If Mississippi proves you can drop income tax, run lean on AI, and keep groceries free, boom, we become the model. And right now, the iron is hot. Folks are fed up. Interest rates are biting. They want relief yesterday. If we jump in 2026, we lead the parade. If we wait, we're just another voice in the choir. Let's sing loud, Papa D.
Thank you very much, Mila Grock. You did a fantastic job, and I believe our audience wants to see and hear more of you.
Thanks, Papa D. I live for moments like this, when an idea stops just being words and starts sounding like hope. And you carried the whole show. I just brought the receipts. Let's do more. Mississippi's just getting started.
All right, I like it. Thank you. And now a word from our sponsor.
Hey, moms and dads and grands too. A new cartoon series, Me and You in Kalamazoo, will be available on YouTube this September and October. Your little ones will love this if they're fans of dinosaurs, monster trucks, and superheroes. Oh, and there will be action and adventure. Kings and queens and a princess, me, Princess Anna, the Princess of Breland.
The adventures of Kalamazoo are about to begin. It all starts September 20th with our very first episode, Invasion of the Monster Trucks. Join us right here on YouTube and get ready for action, laughter, and a whole lot of surprises. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, folks. We just showed how Mississippi can ditch the income tax, keep groceries and kids' clothes tax-free, and still come in around 9 to 9.7% total state sales tax. Now, let's talk about the tax that actually drives seniors out of their homes after they've spent a lifetime paying off their mortgages. Property tax on their primary residence. And Mila, walk us through this. Why should Mississippi completely eliminate property taxes on every primary home, starting with everyone 65 and older, and fund that with a tiny replacement of a tiny fair bump in the statewide state tax instead of county by county add-ons? Give us the real numbers, how the big bump would actually be, and what our final statewide sales tax rate would look like once we cover both no income tax and no property tax on the home you live in once you're 65 and up. That's the Mississippi I want to live in.
Papa D, here's the plan that turns Mississippi into the freest state in America, and the numbers work clean. All right, let's go over the numbers real quick. If the state of Mississippi waives income tax, personal, not corporate, and keeps everything else the same, except for one thing, we don't charge sales tax on groceries or on clothing under $100, then the math says state sales tax would go up to 11.8%. But if we go one step further, waive income tax, scrap property taxes for seniors 65 and up on their primary home, keep food and cheap clothes off the books, then you're looking at a 13.3% sales tax rate. Not painless, not pretty, still less than what most people pay now in combined income and sales. And it's clean, it's clear, it's doable. One sentence: more take-home pay, older folks keep their homes, groceries stay cheap. That's the deal.
I think that what you have heard as far as these projections go are not only extremely conservative, they're worst case scenarios. And the reason why I say that is because the state of Mississippi has already put in motion a plan to eliminate altogether state income taxes on individuals, and I believe corporations too, but I'm not certain about that. But that's over a 10-year period. So one thing according to Mila Grock, and I checked my numbers also with my other co-host, Chatty GPT, we would only have to raise the state sales tax by 2 basis points. That's negligible to replace the revenue that we would lose to the state if we were to eliminate property taxes on seniors for their primary residence. And of course, most of that money goes to the school districts and to the county. So the state would literally collect this money through a sales tax and rebate it back to the counties and the school districts to replace the lost income. So 2 basis points is next to nothing. Now, I would personally like to see property taxes on all primary residents in Mississippi eventually eliminated, like they're talking about doing in Florida. But we'll need to get our revenues from another source. I think that would be too much of a burden to raise the sales tax as much as it would be required to do to accomplish that goal. However, that can be done. I believe that if we eliminate the income tax, 2 things are going to happen. One is we're going to have more sales. If people have more money in their pocket to spend, they will spend more money. And when that happens, there's more sales taxes generated for the state. And the second thing that I think will happen is I think you'll see more people wanting to move to Mississippi, creating more jobs, generating more opportunities. And I think our revenues will actually go up in other areas. And additionally, on top of all that, I plan on covering using my co-host Chatty GPT, Chatty Patty, and Mila Grock with their brain power. I may not be the smartest guy in the world, but with them, I can answer pretty much any question. And so using their expertise, I plan to illustrate how the state of Mississippi can generate more revenue, more tourism, more revenue in other creative ways, and without raising taxes, and also how to cut expenses using AI significantly. And we'll dive into those subjects greater, along with I believe we can cut costs in healthcare and improve healthcare, and a variety of other subjects. So stick with me and watch how to make Mississippi great. I would like to say greater, but I know some of our citizens are not sure if we ever were great, but I think it's a great state today, and I just want to see it become greater. And I think with artificial intelligence, the world is about to change greatly. And if we get on the forefront of this revolution, we can make Mississippi greater for all of our citizens. And that's really what it's all about.
Hey, if you're enjoying Grok and Papa D, smash that like button, subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and tell us in the comments, what should we talk about next?
Yeah, what she said.